my favorite songs are slow and sad. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Welcome to the Sad Song Queens podcast, where we dive deep into the songs that make us cry. I'm Laura Webb.
And I'm Lindsay Wolfington.
Today we are talking with Nathan Nicholson of the Boxer Rebellion about their song, Here I Am.
The Boxer Rebellion is an international indie rock band formed in London in 2001, featuring Nathan Nicholson, Adam Harrison, Piers Hewitt, and Andrew Smith.
Lead singer and notable songwriter Nathan Nicholson hails from Tennessee and resides in London. His songs have amassed just shy of 500 million streams globally, which is crazy. He is a world-class storyteller known for his ability to create captivating and emotive melodies. His most recent collaboration was with Dom Dolla, and the song was called No Room for a Saint, which was the second single off the F1 Grammy-nominated soundtrack.
Nathan has seen the band through 7 studio albums and numerous worldwide tours. His songs have been featured across ads for Amazon, Google, Chrysler, Jaguar, as well as various film, TV, and video game productions, including a few of my shows. Nathan and the band performed on camera in the movie Going the Distance, which featured multiple songs of theirs.
The Boxer Rebellion's newest studio album, The Second I'm Asleep, released on March 27th. Lindsay and I have been fans of the band's for years now. We are taking it back to a song from 2018 called Here I Am, and it's the one we thought was the saddest. We look forward to chatting with Nathan more about all things sad.
So grab those tissues and let's get into it, because we all need a good cry. And now, Here I Am by the Boxer Rebellion.
Drop in the ocean, moved in slow motion, and it hit me out of the blue. I followed blindly, however unlikely that I'd find you, I just knew.
welcome, Nate, to the podcast. We're happy to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Sometimes when we're listening to these, I'm like, do I give in and cry or do I not? I just get swept up in with the like arpeggiated piano notes, and kind of the instrumental sweeping part is what gets me in the gut the most. Do you think this song is sad?
I think it's kind of yes, but it's hopeful as well, I would say.
Agree.
Yeah.
That's almost like what makes it sad to me.
Yeah.
I'll jump in a little bit. I still don't feel like I know what the song is about, but I feel like that's part of the beauty of it, how many different interpretations you can take of it. But the idea of being there for somebody no matter what. So like the concept of either standing by someone or standing despite losing them is what I get from it. I found personally that the moments where people showed up for me are the ones that make me the most emotional. Like I had a big event a couple weeks ago and someone texted me and was just like, I'm here for you, whatever you need. I just want you to know you're not alone. And I was like, why is that the nicest thing that anyone's ever said to me? Like it's like the reason there are reality makeover shows. Like when someone does something kind for you, it's more emotional than a lot of things.
Sure.
And that's part of what I pick up in this song. And then I really love when you change. I mean, I love I lost you once, I won't lose you again, which makes me think that it's either about, first makes me think of a relationship, right? But then it secondly could make me think of you helping somebody who struggled and that you don't want to struggle again. But I love when you change it up and you go, I am here, I love you, and I still miss you. And then we go into or I miss you still. And then we go into the beautiful kind of instrumental. It's not an interlude. It's almost like an apex of the song.
Yeah, the build.
Totally. And that's my favorite part of the song. And that just idea of like, I'm like, forcibly loving somebody like in the face of whatever is a really powerful notion.
I think initially I kind of had the same thoughts, Lindsay. Like I feel like, being there for someone, showing up, perhaps it was, a breakup and you're there for them whether you're together or not, like was my first thought. But then as we sit and really like look at the lyrics, and I actually think it could be, I think it might be more the loss of a parent, and that maybe like even you saying here I am is a call to them that you're not going to forget their memory, that you're going to talk about them, that you're going to live on with their memory, and a wish that you were there for them. And I like that you lost you once and that I won't lose you again is that you hold them in your heart and keep the memory alive.
Yeah.
And then like when you sing the dead ends, living hell, the story you can't tell, makes me think that you can't talk, or maybe for a while you couldn't talk about the circumstances surrounding the loss of this person. And just that you're claiming you'll be there for them metaphorically or literally, like whatever that means for whatever is kind of what I took from it. So that's what I
How
thought.
do we do?
Well, I mean, it's more of what Laura said, but it's not quite that. The song started life in kind of the sync kind of conversation. We were sent a scene, and the whole, it was almost like this climax bit of the scene, and the story was a father who was searching for his daughter who had been kidnapped, and basically it was really kind of like heavy. A little girl who had been kidnapped and I guess murdered, and yeah, no, it's heavy. And they find the child, and it's like this really heavy scene. I don't know. We didn't end up getting the cut, but so we kind of had this song, and lyrically, the whole like a drop in the ocean. like searching, like this, it's the whole thing of searching for like physically searching for someone who's been, they can't find, and the, you know, dead ends, and they've passed, so yeah, they can't tell the story, and I lost you when you were taken, but I'm not going to lose you again. But then when we recorded it, when we recorded that, the final version, maybe a year and a bit later, it was 2 weeks after my dad died, and so it did end up having a different connotation, and I think a lot of our fans end up having that relationship with it. Just from talking to fans after gigs and stuff like that, they've been quite vocal about that song.
Vocal in that it helped them through a tough time when about the loss of like someone in their life, meaning?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
But your words still get through. Was that always in there, or is that something you added after the loss of
No,
your dad?
it was more. Well, I wrote it more from like someone speaking to you from beyond the grave. I feel like, I know this is a sad song podcast, but I feel like I've made it really sad. Yeah, so
No, that's what we're here for. Do you feel when you were writing it, you know, yes, you were writing it for Sync originally, the Genesis, but do you feel like you infused any of that sadness personally, even though you were doing it and you saw the scene for characters? Did you feel any, you know, like personal connection to it, or just like did it start just as the writing assignment?
it started from that, and it was written very quickly. I think the thing is, what is great about writing from to sync is you have a starting point that sometimes you don't necessarily have when you're writing. Like, you're just describing a scene, and sometimes that's what I'm doing already. I'm doing that in like my own uh kind of stuff, and you're kind of, I always get people coming up to me and saying, "Did you live this or did you do that?" Or, and most of the time, no, you're just kind of inhabiting kind of a character of some variety. My life is not interesting enough, I think, to have like an album all the time. So and so I find things interesting, and I find kind of perspectives interesting, and when you're writing from sync, which I'm sure you guys know very well, is that it gives you that license to describe something, create something, and s- take your own viewpoint of it, and it's quite
Yeah.
fun to do that.
Describe someone else's story and then put your take on it. Totally.
Yeah.
Well, we're very happy that this song did not get picked for the movie, and that you got to put it on the album, and that we're here
Yeah.
today to discuss it.
And it's so sync friendly. I've licensed it
Yeah.
twice. It's like, it's interesting. So talk to us. You've written for sync more than once, haven't you? I know you've written stuff for my projects. What do you think of it?
I find it quite fun just to have like a brief and to describe a situation and tell a story that is not something you would normally think of or do. The first time we did that was for it's called Going the Distance, the one we did for Dana Sano and Aaron Scully, and that was the first time we wrote for
And that
sync.
was the Drew Barrymore, Justin Long
Yeah.
movie, right?
And that was my first and our first time doing that, and it's kind of, and now that I'm a songwriter for other people, it was an early education in that, because you're kind of doing a similar thing when you're writing for others, because you're trying to inhabit their voice to an extent. Yeah, I like that, the challenge of that. It's quite fun, even if it's sad.
Yeah, it's great when it's
Better
sad.
when it's sad. Come
Yeah.
on.
Those are the songs that stick with you. So,
Yeah, exactly.
So the song was, you know, you made it for this as a demo for the movie, and then you sadly, and I'm sorry for your loss, you lost your father. Did you kind of come back to it after that loss, and you were like, wait a second, there's something here?
No, it was more that for that album, we had a batch of songs. Some It's called Ghost Alive, that album that it's on.
Mhm.
And we had quite a few songs, and they were all in different versions and arrangements. And we decided to take all these songs and kind of retrofit them in a different way. So instead of making an acoustic album from another album, we just took songs that we already had and made an acoustic influenced album from stuff we'd never put out. But Here I Am was definitely like probably top of the food chain as far as that record went.
I don't remember, but is it track 3 or 5 on the album?
I have no idea. But that's
Dang it.
sure.
Okay. I'm just,
sure.
Right, but like that's where you put like the really strong ballads, right?
Yeah,
if you're
yeah,
sequencing
exactly.
something.
Yeah.
Well, that's Lindsay's theory.
That's my theory. So I was like, is it? Did we guess? I'm actually going to look it up right now.
Yeah, look it up.
I could look it up as well.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, it's a race. Let's see who can find
got
it
it.
first.
Oh,
It's
number
5, track
5.
5. And Love Yourself is track 3, which is another, which I feel like lives in the same vein as this song as well.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, that song is very well.
Yeah, I was about to ask about it because you wrote it very specifically, didn't you?
I wrote the subject matter was quite specific, but it wasn't necessarily specific to anyone in particular. Again, a lot of these songs, they make a lot more sense once we recorded them. And for me, I really associate so much of it with like, that time and what was going on with, like, as I was saying, with my dad, and also with the band, because the band was in this kind of state of flux to an extent of where do we go, what do we do, and to some degree that's why the album ended up being the way it was, because we didn't have a studio and we had all these songs, and so it was kind of one of those things of like, well, why sit and write a whole new album when we have 25, 30 plus songs that we've never used for anything. So that's where it started. But yeah, I associate that time so much with the state of flux of the band and the personal stuff. And Love Yourself was straight up about loving yourself, and if you don't love yourself, I find a lot of times songs tend to be me inhabiting someone else, but also talking to myself. It's almost like I'm some friend of me, a friend that's like giving me advice, or yeah, that's kind of was born out of that, I guess.
Well, they say that the way that you talk to yourself the way that you would talk to a friend, right? You wouldn't be
Yes.
like, God damn it, you're so stupid. Like you wouldn't say that to a friend, or you wouldn't have very many friends. But yeah, I like that you talk to yourself with the respect that you would for others.
Yeah, that's very much what that's about. I do touch on that kind of stuff, I think, quite a lot, and so the songs for the band, being present. That's one of the things I'm worst at in life. And so I think I'm always telling myself, like, enjoy the now. Tomorrow's not gonna, like, we have a new song on our new album called Flowers in the Water. And it's all about that. It's all about flowers in a vase. Well, they say vase here, vase. When they're already in the vase, they're already on their way to dying. But for a short period of time, they look great, and just enjoy it when they look great, because they will soon wither away and die.
Just imagine your flowers
Yeah.
singing "Here I Am" to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can't imagine you working on this. You said Here I Am 2 weeks after your dad passed. I mean, were you just in the biggest fog? Is there things that are murky? I know myself, I like that whole year right after my dad passed, I can't remember much.
I don't know if I was necessarily in a fog personally. I was more in a fog about the band, I think, because when, as I'm sure you guys know, when something like big happens, then all the other trivial kind of stuff goes out the window. So like you have this like fine this period of time where it's almost kind of nice in some ways, where you're just like, who gives a shit? Because it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't matter. And so the day my dad died, we had been doing kind of pre-production for this album, taking the songs that we already had and making them fit this album we were working on. So we hadn't started recording it, but so then I went back to Tennessee for a few weeks, and while I was away, the guys continued kind of working on these arrangements and how the songs would come across and sound. And I just kind of let them, not let them, but they just got on with it, and I didn't really care.
Yeah. You know, you talked about kind of things being different or in transition with the band. Was part of that like, oh, we have families now, we don't want to be on the road, how do we continue our career without touring? Was it that kind of thing? Or
Yeah, that was a big part of it. We downed tools a little bit in 2018. After we toured Ghost Alive, we took a few years out. COVID happened as well, but that didn't really play any part in that. It was more of just we were already doing that, and I ended up getting more into what I'm doing now. A lot of songwriting, mainly so I could be around, and also touring. It was a double-edged sword a lot of times. And it still is, but we don't take as many risks as we used to. I think used to was like it was very speculative, and um it was just about keeping the name out there and buoyant. Whereas I guess at that point it just didn't make sense to go away for long periods of time and come back with not anything to really show for it. The trade-off wasn't worth it as much as we wanted to do it. And the hunger, I guess, had maybe subsided slightly. And so that's why when we got back into it in, I can't remember, 2022 or 23, we were excited to do it again.
And what do you mean by like taking risks? Like touring more extensively, spending more for like a superstar producer? What do you mean by that?
It was more like taking risks, like if it's gonna cost us $10,000 to do this show, and we're gonna make $5,000, are we gonna take the loss? Just so it potentially furthers our career. It's kind of simple
Got
as
it.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
we've heard that touring's like really tough these days, that like people aren't doing it because there's the money in it isn't really there anymore.
There was something like we were putting together a US tour for this album. And we'd still love to do it, but I think it was almost like even if we sold out every single show, we would still lose money.
Wow.
And so it's that whole thing of when you have a family, it doesn't make sense to go away for 3, 4, 5 weeks to do it, and it doesn't make a lot of sense to just go over for a few days either.
That's so tough to balance because it's like, yeah, it's like going out there and playing. You know, sometimes it's that theory of like you need to spend money to make money, but it
Yeah,
sounds
exactly.
like the math is just not mathing anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like that. It's fun as it is. I do miss it. I think we will do it at some point. It's just that it kind of has to make sense, really.
What can we do to solve that? Like it feels like such a catch-22 that no one really wants it to be that way. What is it that makes it so expensive? Like taxes or
That's one thing. The U.S. has like I mean, you're talking to the wrong dude as far as like knowing the
Like I
ins
just
and outs
make
of
the
this.
art. Yeah.
I think we've been quite good at our management has been very good about us being very independent. We've always liked that, and it's funny because in my kind of day job of writing stuff, I'm always coming across labels. Too many cooks in the kitchen, and things becoming worse because of the opinions of um, so many people. With our band, we've never, ever since our first album, after our first album, so from our second album, we haven't had anyone except our manager, except Sumit. So we've never had anyone else do besides the four of us and Sumit. Decide what singles we're gonna have, what the track order is, what songs make the album, what the artwork is, what videos to do. It's just us. So that definitely streamlines things and helps things.
And you knew to put Here I Am at track 5, so you obviously know what
Yeah.
you're doing. So
Yeah.
I tend to not get
Absolutely.
too involved in track order. I find that I'm really
Oh, you
bad at
don't?
it. No,
who
the other
does
guys
that?
do.
Is that an Adam
Um,
thing?
it's a Sumit thing a lot of times.
Oh.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
because he gets really
Yeah.
vested in it, whereas and he's coming from he views it more as a one piece, whereas I will nitpick it. And it's funny, I'm saying all this stuff about not having labels and other opinions, but sometimes it's good to have someone's opinion that you
Well,
actually
your
trust.
friends and family, and
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
exactly. Right. Yeah. Yeah, because you're just too close to it. Well, one fun fact, or I always laugh about this. Like, do you know how like there's fun names for groups of animals? Do you know what the name is for a group of buzzards?
I should know that. I feel like I've heard this before. What is it?
It's called a committee,
Oh, I did not know that.
Oh, interesting.
Wow.
which
Okay.
makes me laugh every time when you think of like a bunch of group think
Yeah.
and
Picking
all that.
things apart.
Yeah, like what you were
Yeah.
saying that just popped in my head. Talk to us because you've always been independent and how you even got to the charts and how we discovered you, like being independent. How did that all work out for you? Like, can you take us back to that time?
Sure. It was 2009 that we released our second album. And a few months before that, we had the album finished. And a couple of guys from Apple reached out to us on, I think, our MySpace page when that was
Yes.
still around. And
R.I.P. Yep.
I know that's how I met my wife. She worked at MySpace. She was the
No.
she was the music editor for the UK MySpace. So anyway, a
Wow.
little side note. Yeah, they messaged us, and basically there were our first album came out in 2005, and then in 2000 late 2008 they messaged us saying that they were huge fans of that album. One of the guys, Damon, he had run his own record store. I like to think of it as kind of like a high fidelity type record store um, in
Nice.
um, in Connecticut. And his really good friend, Jay Lepus, who's now one of the heads of Apple Music, he started at Apple when iTunes started, and he has been with them ever since. And at the time, Damon was in charge of the Indian alternative side of that. They reached out and said, I had your album imported when I had this record store. What's happening with you guys? Would love to hear some stuff." And we just happened to have an album finished, and where we were kind of at a loose end to know what to do with it, because we had it finished for a while, but I don't think anyone really cared. It was they reached out and basically said, "Can we help you guys and help put it out?" And they, at the time, is when iTunes they did a single of the week. It was, free single of the week, and that would always propel people to go buy the album. And and instead of just it being the US, they made ours it was like the first global single of the week. So in every
Wow.
iTunes store, it was free, and so that really
What was
propelled
that
us to.
song? Do you remember?
It's called "Evacuate." So,
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
but that's how we were propelled to I guess where we are now. And that was shortly followed by Going the Distance. And then that was shortly followed by our third album called The Cold Still. And then it just kind of kept going from there, really.
I remember at the time, I mean, we definitely had your music early on.
Mm.
I don't know who was pitching it back then, but I remember us having your music. I liked it. And then I was excited to see you all be the on camera band and Going the Distance because I was like, okay, this is so great. Like, I love when bands I personally love get that platform and more people to discover. Yeah, so you definitely, I guess the everything was aligned for you to break out, it seems. Yeah. Or maybe you don't feel that way, but it definitely
Yeah.
felt on our end like, yes, this is so obviously amazing, you know?
It's weird when you're kind of in it. You kind of want more and more, and you want things to grow even bigger and more exponentially. But I think looking back on it, I'm happy with the little journey we've taken.
That story feels like a much simpler time, right? Where like someone from Apple knew who you were and wanted to help you personally. Like, I just can't imagine that happening today.
I
Right.
know.
It's so
I know.
different.
Much more crowded market, it seems, for sure.
Yeah.
Like harder to break through, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think that, well, that couldn't really happen now. I guess maybe, I mean, you guys can kind of do that to some extent with placement. Sometimes placements will propel someone to another level, but or you're put on like a playlist, but it almost feels like you already have to be some sort of social media known. There's no risk. I know we were talking about risk a minute ago, but there's very little risk in that world now. So
Yeah.
Right. Like if you're trending on TikTok, which, you know, then maybe someone puts it on the Spotify playlist.
Yeah.
Or then, or I mean, we've seen even things that we've placed and managers or the labels tell us like, oh, this song's really spiking. But I mean, I think only several of the songs that we've placed that maybe wasn't known actually ever like made it to radio per se,
right,
right? Like it takes quite a bit to even have it go total mainstream, you
sure,
know?
yeah, big
Even
time.
now, yeah.
Crazy to think that your first album was in 2005. So you guys have been together over 20 years.
25 years, I think now, which is nuts.
Oh, because you started in early, 2001.
Yeah.
That's insane.
crazy.
That's insane. Have you guys ever done like group therapy? Like, how do you stay together so
Like
long?
Metallica?
Yes.
No. I think, well, the thing is, we are like family. Maybe it would have put us in a good place to do something like that. One of the things that I would say has helped is we've always been very democratic. Everything always has to kind of be decided democratically. All the songs, publishing, everything's split equally. And, you know, everything's very equal. So I think that quite helps.
Yeah, we had the head and the heart on, and they have a group therapist and said it really helped them, and that's probably why they're still together.
I mean, yeah, I can totally understand why that might be something. We've never even talked. When I see the guys tomorrow, I'm going to bring that up. Not that
You
we should do
should.
it. Just more of just like, did you know bands get group therapy? And then they'll probably mention Metallica like I just did. But yeah.
I didn't know that Metallica did, so
No,
that's
it
cool.
was they had a documentary called Some Kind of Monster, which it's all about that. Yeah.
Well, interesting. In an interview I saw that you and Adam did, that one of your songs, the proceeds went to Calm, which is the campaign
Mm,
against living miserably. And
yes.
that name, I'm like, wait, what? But and Lindsay, it's a UK based suicide prevention charity, and I liked how Adam brought up about that suicide in the UK, but I think also in the US we can say a lot of men, you know,
Yes.
and the male vulnerability, and one of the things we didn't know when we started this podcast, but that encouraging men to get vulnerable with us, talking about feelings. I think artists inherently do anyway, But I think that is a really interesting space, and it sounds like maybe you all as the band can do that you all can be emotional and vulnerable with each other.
That's another thing. I think we all are very open,
Mm-hmm.
with how we feel, and I've always been very open about different things in life. I try not to be too guarded about stuff, and it does help when you're. I mean, to me, it helps when you're a creative person and you're thinking about these things a lot more than
Mm-hmm.
some people, where they can easily move through their day and block it out. Whereas like I'm constantly trying to, I don't know, investigate how I feel or how someone else might feel. So that's why, I guess for me, that's why it's easier. Or I've been through a lot of things, so as a lot of people have, but I've been through a lot of things, and so it comes from maybe some experience. Well, I remember we had a meeting with them and we were talking about different things we could do together. And there's a song on our we did an EP that came out a year or two ago, and there's a song on it called Open Arms. And I remember I wrote that the day we went for the meeting. Just, and the lyric in it is, loneliness will kill you if you let it. That's a big thing with Calm at I remember at the time, of just, I mean, you can be lonely in a crowded room kind of thing, and you never know what someone's going through. And yeah, talking is worth its weight in gold.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've definitely found that just having this space to talk and connect, and
Sure.
connection's so key as when you're going through tough stuff. And also, like, yeah, we're trying to like normalize crying. Like, we welcome tears here. I think having spaces and people that you can talk with is
Sure.
definitely been healing for myself, I can say.
That's excellent.
Yeah. Loneliness is such a, you know, challenge with teenagers now. Are your kids teens?
My son, he's
They were
12.
5 in 2018.
Oh,
Okay,
Yeah,
so
he's
almost.
12.
was your son impressed with your song in the F1 movie on the soundtrack?
He was probably not as
Mm-hmm.
impressed as you would think, but I think he was impressed. I think he likes the fact that I
Mm-hmm.
do music. He's more of a fan of me now, just as a dad, than I think he has been. I think
Okay.
I'm I don't think I'm cool, but I think he likes me, which is a start.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah,
It's
we
all
can't
you can
always say
hope for
that.
with a
Yeah,
12-year-old. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Have you taken him to concerts?
Yeah, we took him to last year. We took him to Radiohead. Uh,
Oh,
Good
wow.
one. Nice.
yeah, we took him. His first ever concert was at Wembley Stadium. It was to see Blur. Uh,
Uh, Amazing.
and
One of my
then
favorites.
Yeah.
and then
Laura's jealous.
we took him to a festival. He's seen like Pulp and which, yeah, they were,
Dang.
These are
yeah,
all my.
they're all like kind of cool stuff. I'm gonna try and it's sold out, so I'm gonna try and get tickets somehow to see Tame Impala. So that's kind of what he's into.
Nice.
So we'll
Oh,
see what
good. That's
happens.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah. What were some of your influences?
a big influence was Oasis, and Blur and Radiohead and the Beatles and the Prodigy and Underworld,
You're
and
speaking
it
my
was all very
language.
it was very British, very British.
Yeah.
Me as well.
So
Yep.
yeah.
Which Nate and I found out, we realized we both studied abroad in London at the same time. You were at FSU, I was at USC, but we used FSU's building. So we were in the same hallways, computer lab, all that at the same time.
So
And
crazy.
I actually did try to stay. I did stay and work for the summer, but you actually made it work and stayed long term.
I just became only a month or two ago. I became a British citizen. So I have
Oh,
Congratulations.
I'm a dual citizen now. So it
yes.
Congrats.
it only
That's a
took
good time. It's a good
yeah.
time for you to do that.
It took 25 years, but yeah,
Wow.
here
You
I
earned
am.
it then.
That's great.
Here
Does
I
it?
am. It's full
Yeah,
circle.
here I
Yeah.
am. Right. Yeah.
Well, tell us about some of your favorite sad songs.
Oh yeah, I've got three here. The first one was that I think is a very sad song is George Jones. It's called "He Stopped Loving Her Today." Have you ever heard that song?
Yes.
Oh, good
It's
one.
come
Oh
up
yeah.
before. Yes.
I would have thought that, yeah, because it's. I think that's the paramount sad song. And then
Mm-hmm.
Elliott Smith's "Miss Misery"
Yeah, that's a
um,
good one.
from Goodwill Hunting, and then "Everybody Hurts" by R.E.M.
Oh,
So
Oh, good one.
amazing one. Yeah.
yeah.
So when did these come to you in your life? Like, had the George Jones, maybe your parents introduced it to you, or growing up, or
That was more recent. I think I saw an interview. I want to
oh,
say it was like Dave Grohl was in an interview, and I heard that. But I mean, in the last like 10, 15 years, George Jones. Actually, my dad had uh, a signed photo of George Jones with his like
wow,
weird styled kind of price spray painted not spray painted hairsprayed. It
shellacked.
could be yeah, shellac hair, and it was signed to my dad. The signature's kind of faded, but I actually have it at my flat. I
Oh,
brought it back with me. And then Elliott Smith, it was when Goodwill Hunting came out,
hmm,
and I think that's compounded by the fact that he was such um, a sad person, and so it just hits home more. But I always loved that
hmm,
song.
hmm.
And "Everybody Hurts" was one of the first songs that I think I ever really got into. I was probably "Automatic for the People" was that 93
Hmm.
maybe?
Hmm.
So I would
Yeah,
have
I
been
think
Yeah, we
so.
would have been like middle school.
yeah. Yeah, it was definitely one of those songs where I liked everything about it, and I liked that it was sad, and I liked that it was uh hopeful. And even though I was probably my son's age at the time, I didn't, and you
Hmm.
don't really kind of, I don't didn't probably read so much into the lyrics, but it's one of those songs that the emotion of it conveys what those lyrics mean, I guess.
Hmm.
And the music video, everyone's sitting in their car in
Yeah,
traffic, and then the hold on, and everybody like it's
yeah,
actually that hold on has a little bit of the Here I Am vibes in it.
Hmm.
yeah, totally. Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm sure we've ripped that off in some way in our career.
Were you a big REM fan? I like loved them in middle school.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I was really big into uh all those albums around that time. I saw them at
Hmm.
Glastonbury once. Um
Oh wow.
Really?
Actually we met
Like
Michael Stipe
recently?
once. No, 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 no. When the
Cool.
like in 2003 or 4. But
Mm.
the first time we ever played Glastonbury. But no, we oddly enough, when we played South by Southwest a few times, and the what this particular year was when the Japanese tsunami happened, and
Mm.
Hanson, the guys,
Oh yeah. We know them.
they had set up uh, a thing where they, as a benefit, they were getting all these bands that were coming into South by Southwest to come to a studio and play one of their songs, and to put on a compilation album to raise money for that, which was a very noble thing. And we did ours at this studio in Austin. Met the guys from Hanson; they were really nice. And then as we were about to leave, uh, one of the guys, I think the lead singer of Hanson, he was like, you should stick around because Michael Stipe's gonna be here." And so we we did, yeah, we did. And he got my name wrong, but he was really nice. And he got my name wrong in the sense of I introduced myself and he misheard me, and I didn't have the courage to, you know,
Right. Which
say what it
you're
was.
like,
You're like,
And
whatever.
and he kept referring to REM as his band, like, oh, my band, we're doing this thing, and it's like, yeah, we know who your band is,
Yeah.
you can say.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah.
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 But he
That's
was
so
really
cool.
nice.
That's
Really nice
cool.
person.
Well, thank you for being here, Nate, and so happy we got to talk all things sad with you. So excited for the new album and what's
Thank you very
in store
much.
for you. And hopefully we see you perform live in the US at some point.
without too many
Well,
taxes.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Thank you for joining us today on the Sad Song Queens, because you always need a good cry. We will link these songs in our show page as well as our Spotify playlist, so be sure to check it out. Please also like, comment, and subscribe wherever you find podcasts. Huge thanks to Nathan Nicholson, Adam Harrison, Pierce Hewitt, Andrew Smith, and Todd Howe, our friends at SB3 Artist Management, Sumit Bothra, and Sam White. Special production thanks to Stephanie Gangle, Avery Piantadosi, Alex Fuchek, Jordan Lindsay, and our producer May Rogers. Our theme song is All My Favorite Songs by Weezer, and our outro music is by Wyatt Rouse.